with you.
Okay.
Oh god, I just realised I made a Titanic joke and didn't
Yeah.
realise it.
If you're all right with that, like it's an audio thing.
Okay.
So I'm not too fussed about the visuals. Okay, we are live everywhere. Hello and welcome to this, the first in, I guess, will be a 7-part series, because there's only so many new Star Wars episodes coming out for us to discuss week to week. Welcome to This Is the Wave. I'm Ollie Johnson. The rest of the podcast, do you want to go around the table and introduce yourselves? We're not at a table, it's a metaphorical table.
I mean, I guess I'll go first. Do I talk first? So yeah, I'm Hiros Knight Seb. My name's Seb. I just like TV, Star Wars, and can talk about it. So here I am.
My on hiatus Film de Siècle co-host. I'm sure we'll get back to that eventually.
Yeah, there'll be a time. Things will also fly.
I am Murasaki, or just call me Mura, or Saki if you're a friend. None of you have that privilege yet. I've known you for like almost 20 years in some cases.
Yeah.
So I need to save your life or something.
No. I'll look. It's just a thing I say on the.
I know.
On our streams. But my position is that I have watched a bit of Star Wars years ago. I am not for or against it. I'm more of a neutral party in this. But I did sit and watch the Acolyte with Ollie, and I thought I could give the more neutral or balanced opinion.
Yeah, hold on.
As all things should be.
Yeah, I'm
not Thanos. I am not your grape baby.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, sorry, I was just checking the audio to see if we could all be heard. We can.
I can hear someone's motorbike.
Yeah, it's outside mine.
I thought it was Ollie upgraded. I thought Ollie had upgraded his wheelchair.
No.
More than meets the eye.
Nah, the experimentation continues. Dan is setting up. He will join us shortly. In the meantime...
If Ollie becomes a Transformer, it means he's got to pick a new name, and that means he could be Buttplug.
Yeah, he could be Olimus Prime.
Well, no, he's not a Prime. He's got to start off as something else beforehand. I think.
I mean, I won't let this be too much of a tangent, so I'm only going to say it briefly. But in the Transformers movies, are the Transformers widely known about by society, or do you think there's some sort of truther movement? These cars can turn into beings.
That would be funny.
It depends. I mean, in the movies, that they're at least known to the higher ups in the world. The public, you can't really hide the destruction of entire cities.
Yeah.
Are you angling for a Jameson style? There are robot cars, sort of things like that.
That would be amazing. Just like on the History Channel, you see a documentary. Are our cars alive?
They're already doing that though. They're already doing that in the Skybound comics, because Image Comics now has the rights to G.I. Joe and Transformers, and that is literally the angle they're going with at the moment. That the Autobots and Decepticons are now on Earth doing their war, but humans can't conceive of the notion of two factions in space fighting each other, so they're all bad.
Yeah. So we haven't introduced Trigger yet.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm TriggerGoblin. I do a couple of review things with EclecticHawk on his channel. I tend to try and give a flat, sort of generalized opinion on what I watch without taking into account anything I've seen before and see if it stands alone on its own merit.
Yeah, just putting the chat box in so we can see comments a little easier. Hello there, declare yourself.
Hello there.
General Kenobi. You're just in time for introductions. Would you like to introduce yourself to the hypothetical audience?
Yes, I'm Dan. I go by Murgy. And yeah.
He's my Assassin Sunday co-host, primarily on the internet.
Doing all the big guns.
Yeah.
We're only missing
big guns.
We're just missing Hawkus Pawkus.
Yeah, I've messaged him. He knows he's welcome to jump in whenever.
Does a review of Hocus Pocus, that's what I want him to call his video. Hawkus Pawkus.
I mean, that's a Film de Siècle movie right there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got introductions out of the way for everyone who is here. So to the point of this discussion, what did everybody think of the first 2 episodes of Star Wars: The Acolyte?
I thought it was okay.
I thought solid.
It was different.
Yeah.
But it was
I
different.
liked
It was
what it
different.
was.
It was different in a way that I was going to say. It's a different in a way that I actually didn't mind as its own thing. I think it works so far. Hell, it caught me out as I thought it was going to do a tropey thing.
Yeah, there were several
It
times.
did surprise me.
Yeah,
but it did actually surprise me. I'm like, okay, that is a trope as well, but I'm actually curious to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
this is
you,
the
I
thing.
was very impressed with that.
It's following all of the sort of known things. It's following the law of the set universe. It's not breaking anything. It's not twisting anything. It's not doing anything outside of, right, this is the universe that we know. Let's upset a lot of people by doing something stupid. They haven't done that.
No. And
Yeah.
there were a couple of times it sort of threatened us with cliches and then did not do them, which I appreciated.
There was one particular standout moment where that happened for me, and I think, Ollie, we both had the same reaction, where that one Jedi who was skeptical of the lead character, I've not remembered all the characters' names yet,
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
who went off on his own, and then all the others sort of caught her in a compromising position where it looked like she'd poisoned the guy.
Yeah.
And I thought, he's going to turn up and say, she poisoned him. I mean, he was the one who stuck up for her, and I kind of liked that because it was
It's like,
refreshing.
No, I was watching her the whole
It wasn't the
time.
whole crumb. Yeah, it wasn't the Lambus breadcrumbs where there was just specious reasoning and you did this, and I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Well, it tells you a lot about that character as well. So he's semi wants to get into a fight, but he is actually doing his job well, at least.
When he met up with her on the ship, if you noticed, he was very, he was very much he wasn't confronting her or anything, but he just didn't really seem to have any. It's just the way he spoke to her was kind of telling to me. Just the
kind of
fact that he wouldn't
weighing her
speak
up.
much. Yeah, he wouldn't speak much to her or anything, and it was like, okay, they've established that you know each other, and that you clearly spent a bit of time together in the Jedi Order. But it's just the way he spoke to her was it was like he was trying to be distant with her. So I was thinking he's either going to be like the old friend who is so dedicated to the Order that he's either going to look at her and she's no longer part of it, so therefore I don't know how to say it without going into those weird religious things where they won't let you speak to people outside of their group or be friendly with them.
Excommunicated.
That's called a cunt.
I didn't
a cult.
want to go into that. Yeah, I didn't want to get into that particular area of excommunication, but it felt like
also
that.
applicable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think isn't this the first time we've seen someone who's actually left?
I'm trying to be careful.
Sorry,
with my
I've got 3 people talking at once.
I was going to say, this is the first time we've seen someone actually have left the Order and how people they deal with people that have left the Order.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
There was Ahsoka.
Count Dooku, but that's an unusual situation.
Count
Dooku
left to rule a planet. That's hardly the same.
And Ahsoka was sort of when there was no Jedi Order left, so...
Yeah. And it was a very, very particular time. It was a very different Jedi Order by that point.
Yeah, this is meant to be the Jedi at the height of their... Well, not the height of the power, but at their peak.
I'm sorry if this spoils things, if we're getting too far ahead, but can I just say I liked the fact that they showed Jedi hand to hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
I
cool.
Love that.
I like that because
action.
A very good, Seb. I was saying to Ollie, I don't know which. I was going to say Kung Fu Hustle, but it's not done in a comedic way like Kung Fu Hustle is.
No.
But it was just nice to have the whole hand to hand thing, and I'm sure Trigger will bring up that one of the major complaints people brought up is, they're fighting hand to hand. Like, she literally was told.
Yeah.
Or she's doing. They made it clear that her whole thing is she has to kill a Jedi without using a weapon, and hand-to-hand is one of the methods she can use.
That would be a way.
Precisely.
Yeah. Like, it's very... Like, episode 2 was very kung fu, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So the question is, they're very vague on that. Can I drop a chandelier on one? Would that work? Does that count as a weapon?
I don't know if you count
a
the
moment.
chandelier as a weapon, but she's used poison, so I don't know if it means you can't use your if you're specific with the weapons you use, or if it's an environment, an improvised weapon. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the poison did count as a weapon. I seem to remember it being said.
If I judo throw them into the core of a Death Star and it explodes, so, well, what counts as a weapon?
I mean,
I think technically
detonate.
throwing Palpatine down the Death Star reactor is unarmed combat.
Yeah,
because literally at the point he was down the hand as well. So
yeah, he only had one hand. He was unarmed.
Them being killed by an aspect of the fighting arena is doesn't technically count as a weapon unless you physically hold it and twat them with it, I think.
True.
If Vader had twatted Palpatine with the reactor core, that would have been a weapon. But throwing Palpatine at the reactor core...
If I'm riding a Rancor and the Rancor if I was riding a Rancor and the Rancor picked him up and ate him, would that count? Is that
nature at that point.
That's mounted combat, but
and also technically it's the Rancor that killed them. So
hey, yeah, you never said I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, but the debates on the easiest way to sort of get around this so that actually won't be failed by a technicality is just, okay, I will just strangle one of them. or kung fu one of them, which is what May was trying.
Yeah. So, Dan, you haven't said much so far. What did you think of the 2 episodes?
I enjoyed them. It's very much, to me, it felt like sort of like, yes, the Jedi are power, but also builds onto why it's like certain groups in a century or so really don't like the Jedi, and why it's not like public opinion could turn against them. Because just sort of like Yord, I think of Yord, the one who's just sort of like the one who knew her. He's just stuck in my head as the Jedi himbo. Like he doesn't entirely know what's going on, but he's been given responsibilities. He's just in my head. He's just the Jedi himbo, but it's sort of like he comes on and he makes a hand gesture as if like he's just going to casually compel them, and like everyone is, and the Neimoidians of the Trade Federation are scared of the Jedi. So it's building sort of like as to why people turned against them, and how sort of later on they were sort of almost forgotten and sort of ridiculed.
Yeah.
In the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about Star Trek too much, so it's all series, not trilogies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you meant.
Also, an interesting thing, the Acolyte featured the first live-action spacewalk in Star Wars, which is odd for a near 50-year-old sci-fi series.
No one in space can hear you. Cha-cha-cha.
For a near 50-year-old sci-fi series to have its first live-action spacewalk, and it's primarily a live-action series this long into its run, is just kind of weird, but not in a bad way. And I know it's been done in the Clone Wars and Rebels a fair bit, but
yeah,
I hate to say it, most people didn't watch those, is my understanding, which is a shame because they're good.
Yeah,
well, statistically, you're correct.
Yeah, like
okay, like about 2/3 of the Clone Wars is good.
Yeah, some will try and argue that Han in The Empire Strikes Back actually gets the first live-action spacewalk, but
I can see why you might.
He's not walking on the surface in the ship, and also he's clearly still in an environmental envelope, because he's not immediately killed because all he's got on is a gas mask with an oxygen.
There's no element of weightlessness.
Yeah.
no weightlessness, and no, the vacuum of space is deadly and is going to kill you. Or they are literally in a worm's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also no like spacesuit of any kind.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to have one very tiny nitpick, because we mentioned the Nemoidians, like, this isn't a whole cultural thing, but I just wish they'd let them have sillier accents. Although that does imply that, Newt Gunray's whole set are just, like, the ones that speak weirdly, and... I mean, it's like the whole Yaddle Yoda thing, where it's sort of like not a quirk of the species, but just a quirk of certain individuals.
I can't confirm this, but I think I remember reading somewhere that the in-canon reason that Yoda talks the way he does is that he's really old, and while he was growing up, everyone talked like that, and, well, language changed over the centuries, as language does, and...
Whereas Yaddle is just like a Zoomer of that generation.
Yeah.
She's up with the modern lingo, like not getting your words in the wrong order.
Yeah. Well, I remember discussing with Ollie at one point the theory that for why the speech was a problem, because Grogu also doesn't talk much despite being 50. The theory being that their race is telepathic by nature rather than speaking normally. And
because that's how Grogu communicates with Ahsoka.
Yeah, but that's also getting quite off topic from the Apostles, because Grogu isn't alive yet.
Apostles?
And Yoda haven't appeared.
That's a bit more biblical than I was expecting.
The Acolyte.
That's a sequel. That's a sequel. Yeah.
The Apostles.
Now,
Paul, get over here. You need to help Luke.
I don't.
Simon, that is Peter.
Oh, my mic's peaking. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the whole... Like, there's clearly a big mystery being set up of who the Master is. And, I don't care.
Well, Sacha Darwin, isn't it? Last check.
Very good, Sam. Right, no, it's just, I think a lot of...
People will be disappointed if it's not Tenebrous or Plagueis, but,
it's not going to be, and I hope it isn't. Yeah, or I hope it is, and I hope May immediately kills them, and then looks directly into the camera and says the Force is female.
I mean, I believe if they really wanted, because I know that, is it Leslie Headland is a big Legends fan and has incorporated a lot of stuff from Legends. Yeah. If they go down that whole route, then I suppose chronologically it might be like Tenebrous as the Sith apprentice, because, is it Mai who's the evil one? I can't remember.
May, I believe, is
May, not Mai. May, yeah. So May is an acolyte rather than a Sith apprentice. That means that there's still an unseen Sith, and it's quite the Phantom Menace. We don't know if we've seen the Master of the Apprentice at the end of that first episode.
I mean,
we technically don't even know if we've seen a Sith.
That's also true,
because it's not Sith aren't the only group who dislike the Jedi, as sort of demonstrated as the whole thing goes on, and Sith aren't the only group who use red lightsabers.
I say theoretically,
also,
it could
that
be a
guy was wearing a
Mandalorian.
helmet. Yeah, there's actually a theory I've seen where, if you look at that guy's helmet, that he's some sort of predecessor or very early Knight of Ren.
Yeah, possibly. But all that aside for a moment, I think a big part of how much you enjoy this and why is going to come down to what Star Wars is for you and what that means. Because let's be real for a moment. Star Wars is a lot of things, and to a lot of different people, and there's a lot of people who got into it for different reasons. Like, my first theatrical experience, my first time going to the cinema, that I can remember at least, was when I was 5, and it was a special screening of A New Hope. So, obviously, the nostalgia of the thing, nostalgia's a big thing for me with Star Wars, but I like to think I'm pretty good at separating nostalgia to actually how good something is.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why I brought up that thing in the beginning. I was like, they haven't broken anything that we didn't know existed already. They've stuck quite cleverly to the visuals and the sort of the pacing that we know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't say they're ruining it off the bat because it's this, and this, because it's just like, no, they're staying quite well in the safety barrier for visuals, and we haven't seen, as I said, we haven't seen like, really stupid things.
Yeah,
No.
this is.
And these are people who know their Star Wars who are writing it as well.
But also, like, you might remember in one of our Final Fantasy streams, we had my friend Maggie on, who basically said one of the reasons she hadn't watched something like Andor is because, to her, Star Wars is the Jedi and the Sith fighting. That's what it is. And it's like, yeah, and if that's what Star Wars is to you, I think you're really going to like this series, because that's what's being set up.
I agree.
But if you've got into the more gritty stuff, like your Andors or your well, is there anything else like that? No, like
I suppose Rogue One, I guess.
Yeah, and Rogue One. There is a lot of Star Wars media now that focuses on the more ground level stuff of the everyday living, say, under the Empire usually, but not always. And if that's more your jam and you're more into like a Mandalorian thing, this might not hit for you. And, that's fine. Because there's a lot of stuff on the proverbial menu, and it's not all going to hit the same for everyone.
As one of the people that enjoyed when they did the Solo film,
I like Solo
for what it was. I think this is actually really good for filling out some of that more the background information stuff again. It's like you've got these like basically police stations of Jedi on each planet basically now. And you're like, well, that makes more sense now. We've got some sort of, because we didn't know that before. We knew that they had a big ass building on
Coruscant.
I mean, in fairness, we had a hint of that because in Rogue One there was the Jedi Temple on Jeddah, but we don't know when that was last used by the Jedi. Obviously, not recently because it's post Order 66. But you know what I mean. They seem to have lost touch with some of those outposts because I don't remember them coming up in the Clone Wars, for instance. So it'd be interesting to find out why they sort of retreated to Coruscant. I do wonder whether it's out of, a fear or out of losing touch with the public and losing public support for those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm probably the one most familiar with the High Republic as a setting here, but I'm not super far into the books. There is an audio drama on Audible called The Battle of Jeddah, though. So, that's gonna be cool. Anyway, I believe there's one character from the books in this series. It was Venestra.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the full name.
The green-faced woman, if you don't know the name.
Yeah, that's the one. I believe she's from the books. But, there's going to be a Yoda cameo. Because we know he's alive.
Fairness, he was around in that time.
Yeah.
Also, Oppo Rancisis is alive at this time as well, if they wanted to use Oppo.
Which one is that again?
The guy with, like, the big beard, I know that doesn't really narrow it down, and the kind of like serpent's tail who always sits in the chair. But in the comics, I think you see the serpent's tail a bit more.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan will know who I mean.
There's also another character from the films who's alive at this point, but they're not a Jedi, but they're probably as beloved as any Jedi.
Maz Kanata.
Oh,
no. Chewbacca is alive at this point. He'll be about 140.
Oh, aye. He will, won't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because how old was he in Solo? Because they actually say how old he was in Solo.
He's over 200 Solo. I can't remember the exact number, so he's about a century.
There'll be a spring chicken in this.
Are we going to see Chewbacca's teenage years, or the Wookiee equivalent, where he falls in with the wrong crowd?
He's going to throw a straw. Yeah, he's going to throw a straw.
See, I'm gonna throw a negative onto this though.
Go on.
I really did not enjoy the ship CGI.
You know what?
Well, the crash landing and the crash landing of the ship and the CGI just done on the ship itself. Yeah, I watched it on my big screen TV and I was like, oh, it's very PlayStation
Yeah.
5-y.
Could have done
Yeah,
with
I've
maybe
seen
another
better as well.
pass.
You could have put some more shading on that and it might have looked better, but
The ship's far too shiny even after coming apart in a crash.
And I was saying, the only thing that's thrown me so far, and this is because we were only in like episode 1 at that point, and I was like, the only thing that I've really not enjoyed is the ship detailing. And I was like, oh.
Now, I like
Yeah.
how they built up and revealed the twin twist. Like,
Oh yeah, that was.
Yes.
But
I
like, the story's been well done.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I thought that was pretty well told. Like, I mean,
I
I
found
think,
out at exactly the right time.
yeah, I think we all knew there was more to it than she killed a Jedi. Like,
I think when we
She
find
was so
out what
passionate
actually went
about it.
down, when we find out what actually went down on that planet, it's going to be interesting.
yeah,
Yes.
But my personal favorite scene is when he's teaching the kids in the with the meditation and looking into the force. And there's that one kid, I see fire, and he's like, "I'm watching you. Watch out, Charles, I don't trust you."
I also like how he's like, close your eyes, and there's that like one alien that doesn't have eyelids. I thought that was quite funny.
I didn't notice that.
He's like explaining to everyone their force visions, and he's like, I see fire, I see death, and you're like, I am watching you, boy. I don't trust you at all.
Keep an eye on.
I'm watching you, but god damn it, you're making me improvise.
I'd expected him to leave the room and just look to one of the people at the door and go, watch him.
No, to be fair, another master had walked in by that point, so she's probably going, I've marked it down.
I'll make note of that.
Entirely by nod.
What's that? You're going to the outer rim, are you? All right. Far away from us.
It's just like the one teacher always has an irrational hatred of like you at school.
Yeah, we all had that one teacher that just had it out for us for some reason.
Yeah, some unknown reason that even you don't know. It's like there's not even some sort of pre-existing grudge.
I see a Jedi slaughtering sand people. I'm making a note of that.
Yeah.
That could be a problem later on.
It very
I see a Jedi and a woman, and they're doing things, and it's going to bring problems to the Empire, to the future.
Yeah, no, it is possible because like the machinations are going in that kid could just be an incredibly gifted seer, and he's seeing the future of the temple, which is fire and death. And
I see that we should tell the green guy to pay more attention to what's going on around him, and not just
Don't you
ignore
mean
the stuff
the
he's
Mech
feeling.
Nations? Hey, Dan, don't you mean the Mech Nations?
sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, he's
Don't you mean the
um,
Mech Nations?
yeah,
I'm making a joke about mechnics.
Yeah,
yeah.
That is a bugbear for me as well, Ollie.
It,
Don't worry.
it
You're
makes
not
me
alone.
roll my eyes when they have to have the Star Wars version of a word.
I thought it was just the thing is because the Nemoidian said it first. I thought it was just another.
Yeah, you thought it was an
Nemoidian
accent.
quirk, like tuck him away or something like that. But no, it's just what they say.
That's called an accent, Seth.
Yeah, but it's a quirk, isn't it? It's not even an accent. It's just saying a different word.
Yeah, fair enough. But
Tuck him away.
it's not as bad, and No, I will not shut up about this because it annoys me. It's not as bad
It annoys me too.
as if that isn't the Quactor calling the Stifling slimy.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
a bit.
that's
more...
just a really way the hell more cumbersome version of a saying that everyone knows and would understand. And they have pots and kettles in space. I've seen them.
and black.
Hey, I see that kettle back there.
Well, isn't that just the twats calling the bitch a cunt?
See, that's better.
Yeah.
Imagine if they just let them say that in Star Wars. Oh my god! You know how there was that whole thing where they almost said the F word in Andor, and just say the C word randomly in like the next season of Andor.
Yeah. No, they should have put that F-bomb in there. It should have been fuck the Empire rather than fight the Empire.
The only problem with that is that it was in such a good scene that if that's what happened, that's all people would talk about in regards to that scene.
I disagree.
It would be clipped all over.
I disagree. I think it would have been a much needed extra bit of punctuation on the end of this badass woman's, self-eulogy. It's not really a eulogy, is it? It's an epitaph.
It's more an incitement to action.
Yeah. Oh, Andor was such a good show.
The fuck was implied. Yeah, the fuck was implied though. It was very heavily.
Yeah.
She didn't even need to say it. It was said.
Right.
I did like Andor.
I must admit, I love the escape scene though from the ship as well.
Oh yeah, when she God, I actually sort of laughed when she shocks the parasite off that guy. He just gets up screaming and just bolts for the escape pod and fucking leaves.
I did see that coming.
Like, oh, you saw it coming a mile off. And here's the thing: this was clever because at this point we still think she's the same person who killed that Jedi. And earlier in the episode, she spared the barman, which would have been the first time if she was the same person. Because I thought, oh, I see, she's being punished for having shown mercy. That's going to be important later. And then again, when I still think this is the same person, it turned out to be a red herring because they're different people. But then I again saw her try to help someone, and she got just fucking ditched for it.
I love the prisoners in the thing. It's like, no, it was the Jedi killer's idea. Like, why the hell is she not with you then?
I just like how personally they took it that she didn't join them for their escape. Like, oh well, you're not joining us in the escape pod then. But also, what I thought was great about the first scene when you see her wake up and talk to the droid, I thought, okay, she's awfully calm and measured for someone who's just killed a Jedi.
And now we know why.
So that's a nice early way of letting the audience know there's probably more to this. Because I thought, okay, she's really nice and casual, and with the other crew members. So she's either going to, it's either going to be a massive misunderstanding, like it ended up being, or she's just going to be a really, well-hidden villain, who's a lot more evil than we thought.
They left it hanging, though, didn't they? It's like, what did you do yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, that was very cleverly done.
Yeah. But we could. One thing I noticed in that scene is we could, from the, sort of like the banters and just sort of things, it would have, if she'd cut her hair, because May has much longer hair than her, it feels like the person she was bantering with, Philic or something like that, would have come. Oh, you've cut your hair. Yeah. Which would have also been another way to sort of muddy the water with just another line.
No, actually, there's another reason why. Yeah, Dan, you're forgetting one key thing. He's a bloke. He might not notice.
Might not notice.
Yeah, I occasionally hold up too high expectations from blokes. There's a side effect of occasion.
No, Dan. This is set in the High Republic era, not the High Standards era.
Yeah.
Nice.
I liked when she tried using the Force thing to pull the droid closer to her. It's like, you don't have any powers, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete didn't seem to be as refined in her Force abilities as her sister, which was another early clue.
She also hasn't been It's also established that she hasn't been a practicing Jedi for 7 years.
Yes.
I love that scene because it was just like, you haven't got any powers, have you? Let's see the Mary Sue comments.
Oh, don't worry, they're coming.
Regardless of what we've just seen, there will be some.
I make a point of very deliberately not engaging with the Star Wars fandom outside of people I personally know.
Thing is, we saw her get out of bed and get dressed by herself without, seeing her train in order to learn how to do all that.
Yeah, where did she learn to speak?
Yeah.
Clearly, her man didn't slap her hard enough.
Although it did sound like she was trying to make a reason to go on to OnlyFans. It's like, well, the skills aren't really transferable. What, so you're going to join OnlyFans?
I mean, we don't know what
also,
goes on it.
Jedi skills are eminently transferable.
You'd assume so, as a bounty hunter at least.
Bodyguard, negotiator,
Pilot,
Hell, you could even use the Force to do like those
pod racer.
those corner tricks on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where is the pebble hiding? Under which of these coconuts?
Because me and Dan had a discussion quite frequently. Anakin should have just quit the Order because he'd have been fine. Yeah. There would have been no Vader. And well, this is when I was trying to predict where the Mandalorian was going to go, and I maybe gave Jon Favreau.
Too much credit.
I'm not going to say that because that sounds so arrogant of me.
Yeah,
but it's like
condescending.
I assumed a thematic through. I assumed a thematic through line that didn't end up being there, and that was that I thought Din Djarin was going to fight the Armorer in season 3, and
Jon Favreau. Yeah.
What about him?
Oh, sorry, carry on. No, sorry, you cut out for a second. I didn't realise you were still talking.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, well, he was going to fight the Armorer at season 3 and leave the Watch of his own accord, which would then reframe the entire series retroactively as being a show about how two people, Din and Grogu, bound to dogmatic institutions in each other, found the strength to break free of them. And
see, that would have been so good.
Yeah, and Star Wars does have a thematic through line of a dichotomy of family versus dogma, with family almost uniformly being the correct choice.
Come on, I thought it was a decent movie.
It took me a second there to get the joke you were making.
I mean, you have Ben Affleck, you've got Jay and Silent Bob. What more could you want?
Who just dropped out?
Who's here? Who's not?
I don't know. I'm not.
Laura for a minute.
But as to my point about Jon Favreau, he is excellent at what he does, but he does play it safe. He's a great storyteller, but you can't expect anything too groundbreaking from him. He plays it safe, but he's good at that, so I'm not going to hold it against him.
It wouldn't have been too groundbreaking of him to act on what was clear, what I thought was a pretty clear progression of theme in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, fair.
But also, having said that, The Mandalorian season 3 finale did feel very
safe.
It felt very... I don't know what an adjective to describe this is, but there was a lot of committee decisions.
Committee?
Yeah. There was a lot of notes from on high of stuff that had to happen. I don't know that was the case, but it felt like that.
Yeah, that's just conjecture, really, but I know what you mean.
How do you feel about the I've got a bad feeling about this line?
I didn't mind it. I mean, it was appropriate in that situation.
Wait, when did that come in?
When they were waiting.
That's good. You didn't notice. That's good.
It was when they were waiting for for her to return to the shop in episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the guy said it. Oh, I can't. The shirtless guy. I can't remember his name yet.
Oh, Jedi York.
Yeah,
the Knight.
Jedi, that's it.
Basically, the Knight. Because we've got the Master, the Apprentice, and we've got the Knight, basically, haven't we?
He just really wanted to show off his yellow lightsaber, didn't he?
That's a cool yellow lightsaber. I'm not going to lie.
It was, yeah.
That's a thing in the games, though,
colour.
isn't it? I'm sure that the yellow is the one from the games.
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know what it means, but there's Jedi consulates and there's Jedi guardians and there's Jedi something else, and that's what yellow is, I think.
Yeah. Depending on the canon, in Legends, yellow meant Jedi Shadow, which specifically meant Dark Side Hunter.
Oh.
Whereas now, yellow is the color of the Temple Guardians, which is a specific group within the Order. But that is time of the prequels and the Clone Wars. So at this point, it's very much of he's got a yellow lightsaber. That's it.
It's still cool.
Maybe that hint. Maybe that hints. Sorry. I wasn't trying to interrupt you, Dan. You just cut out for me.
Yeah, sorry. It's just the yellow lightsaber at the moment, I think, just means he has a yellow lightsaber. It hasn't conferred any special office. Because if he was a temple guardian, he'd be wearing a mask, wearing hooded robes all the time, and it would be double-bladed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but also, with what you say about Sith hunters, perhaps that's an early clue that he'll be very proactive in terms of the investigation and tracking down the Sith.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I remember from the trailer there was either a copper or a brown lightsaber also appears at one point.
I thought you meant like a policeman then.
Yeah, no, a copper lightsaber. You turn it on and the British Bobby pops out of it.
Hello. What's all this thing?
What's all this?
Oh my god, I loved the Cockney Jedi.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that the big bloke, you know, who's like, she's ran away from the shop. And I was like, oh my god, I loved that.
That's not our usual guy.
Yeah, I like how he just didn't look or sound like a Jedi, but he was one. That was great for me. I just enjoy that.
Yeah.
Oh, Ollie, there was one laugh out loud moment for the both of us, wasn't there? You know the guy who helps May?
Yeah.
You know, the shady poison making.
Oh, sorry, can I just confirm you're all on the Twitch stream for viewing figures?
I am.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. I actually just realised there wasn't. I have it on open on YouTube on my phone, but I don't have it on Twitch. I made a fundamental error there.
No, it's cool. I don't
maybe Russia in winter.
I don't think. I mean, I'm aiming for like an hour 2 tops, so I don't think a lower average for this one is gonna, do much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I was saying, Ollie, the bit that made us both laugh out loud was when the main master was like, so who is he? And then he looks to the himbo and goes, oh, I thought he was with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the sort of thing that I would say as a joke while watching it, but the guy said it, and I thought, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I can't remember his name, but the main master, who was the master of
Soul.
Soul. That's Soul. I kept thinking they were saying Soul, but anyway, that guy was in Squid Game. He was a very important character in that, which I still haven't watched.
Nor have I. I kind of think the moment's gone at this point.
I read today that he learned how to speak English just for that role. I wouldn't have known. I mean, honestly, he's got language skills. But also, the reason he wanted to do that role specifically, because he grew up watching Star Wars, and his favourite character was Qui-Gon Jinn. And that really shows, because I got major Qui-Gon vibes from him.
Yeah.
The whole sort of maverick who's a bit outside the rules. The other Jedi question him, but he knows the way of the Force, and he's got wisdom and he gets results, so he gets to play with it. And I really liked that.
Yeah, the will of the Force takes priority over the rules for this guy.
Yeah,
because I like how the prequels is just 3 movies of suffering for the Jedi until Yoda's like, do you know what? Qui-Gon was right all along. I think I'll learn from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with that, because the distinct impression that he is about to completely ignore the council.
Yeah.
But I also found it slightly amusing that the council has basically turned into middle level. Like the Jedi as a whole have just turned to middle management bureaucracy, making themselves feel more important. We've got new information. We must have a meeting to discuss how this changes the situation. there are literally people dying, but we must have the meeting to discuss how the situation
they didn't they didn't even have a full council meeting for that. They said something like it was a middle council meeting.
Yeah, a small council is being summoned.
Small
I've
council,
called
right,
Jeff
maybe
from
Game of
accounting.
Thrones. Yeah.
I could make a joke. I could make a joke because a lot of anime this month alone has been having nothing but episodes about meetings, but I'll avoid it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I mean, like, he did say he wanted to take accountability, so maybe he's come back from his mission. Jedi Master accountability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although the scene where she's attacking him and she can't land a punch, brilliant use of the sanctuary spell from D&D,
Yeah.
because that's what that does.
The force bubble.
Yeah, the Master Torbin.
Yeah.
I loved that whole thing of Master Torvin because it was sort of like, oh, he's this badass. Like, he doesn't even need to be awake to fight her back. And then eventually.
Oh shit, Seb.
I
We've
know.
lost Seb.
Oh,
Big
good.
sentence.
He was giving
Hopefully
a
he'll-
controversial opinion, and they killed him out.
Discord.
The slug got him.
Oh god, he's been got by the deep state.
I mean, they just censor me, but good lord, they must hate Seb more than me.
I've been got by the depth state because, I was too busy having a mega pint of wine.
But we've got you back now.
But you heard my point, didn't you?
No. Repeat that.
Got cut off.
Okay, we heard you until he doesn't even have to be awake to fight her.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be awake to fight her, but after that, they were just like, do you know what? Maybe he doesn't want to live. And then she just goes up to like, you don't want to be alive, do you? It's like, nah.
I really want to know what they did on that planet.
I'm sure that's going to be
Yeah,
exposited upon
right?
later.
It's like you either tell the Jedi Council what you did or you kill yourself. And he chose to kill himself. I'm like, damn, what did you guys do on that planet?
And he
They are
said-
effectively meant to be space samurai, so seppuku, so some form of taking your life for something bad you've done isn't completely out of the question.
Yeah.
And it's always good when they sort of evoke the whole samurai culture in a way that's
Exactly.
not just aesthetic in Star Wars.
Yeah. And also he said, I'm sorry, I thought we were doing the right thing, so that's going to be an interesting thing
I
to
want
unravel.
to know what they did to that poor planet.
Yeah, and I like that it's a show that doesn't just treat the Jedi as an absolute good. It does go into the flaws of the Jedi, much like the prequels did in a less obvious way.
Yeah. But also, from what I know of the High Republic from the books I've read, they're a lot more optimistic in that than they've been so far here. So maybe this points to a bit of a downtrend in, not just how they're seen, but how they are.
Yeah, because we need to see how they go from being in their zenith into, becoming a shadow of their former selves. And I think it's interesting that at this point they're still wearing the High Republic gilded robes, as opposed to later on when they wear the kind of hermit robes. And I just always assumed that in A New Hope that's just what Obi-Wan wore casually rather than that's what Jedi just wore in general. But I guess George Lucas was like, nah, they all dress like that.
Yeah. They all dress like a desert hermit who's been stuck there for 19 years.
But can you imagine the council meeting where they're like, okay, we need to rebrand, we need to look a bit more humble. Let's just go with these brown robes. I'm like, no, I like my robes. They're nice and gold. They're really cool.
Were you expecting
I
one
love
of the,
gold!
them to walk through the Jedi Temple and there just be an electric pink bodysuit, gimp suit or something with one of the Jedi like, this is what I wear. You're a weirdo.
Do you know what I want? I want Snoke's robes for when I get out the shower. Just like the gold robes, which is apparently, yeah, I want the Snoke bathrobes, so that when my Uber delivery driver comes, I just sit in the chair go, good, thank you for bringing me the food, you rabid cur.
And watch as people refuse to deliver to you ever again.
Yeah. I see you holding the sandwich wrap, turning it slowly towards your true enemy.
Well, Seb, you've got to stop calling 2 different takeout places and only paying the one that gets to you first.
Do you know what? I did actually. Okay, this is an aside. I did actually race Ubers once. So I was coming back from hospital. I had a concussion because I hit my head while snowboarding.
Oh.
I went to like a ski slope in. The funny thing is, I only did 1 run. This happened on my second run, and I wasn't even snowboarding. I was just on the ramp on my way up. But it's really hard for snowboarders to keep hold of that. It's easy for skiers. Anyway, I banged my head against the side of the wall. Got taken into hospital because I had a concussion. And I was on my way back to uni. I ordered an Uber, but this was in the morning because I'd been waiting like 12 hours to be seen. So while I was getting the Uber, I ordered an Uber Eats from McDonald's breakfast because I was running out of time to order McDonald's breakfast. That's how long it took for me to be seen.
Yeah.
So I ordered it so that it would arrive, by my estimations, at the same time I arrived. And within a minute of me arriving back at student accommodation, the Uber Eats arrived. And I was like, all is, going as I foreseen. This is amazing.
By the way, may I suggest, if you have a house party with like 3 or 4 of you, all order from different places and race them. Please do that.
Yeah.
I would want to. I want to know what you do.
Okay, I bet Domino's is going to win this. No, what are you talking about? Just Eat's going to win. My money's on Deliveroo.
Yeah, you have 4 people order from different places, and then you get like half a pint of like sour apple shot, and you go, last one here has to down that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Playing kings with Uber delivery.
Yeah. That is a perfect game to start your. That is a perfect game to start your house party or gaming session.
It's the sport of the middle class.
Especially if you're playing D&D and it's like your DM loses, and he's literally got to down this half shot of like shot, and it's like he is pissed for the rest of this game. Let's see what we can do about this drunk DM.
Yeah, I don't see a downside to this. I mean, the only downside is who's going to eat all that food.
Well, that's because you're all ordering your own orders. So you order what you want, but you're just racing the drivers from different restaurants. So you all the food's accounted for because you're going to you're just going to eat what you ordered, but it's like, I wish I
the
knew
way
the Chinese.
To make it more exciting is to make all the drivers aware of the situation that there's a substantial cash reward for the winner.
Yeah, that's literally what you do, don't you? In the what's it called? You go, right, these are all done by text. I'm going to put it in the notes that we are racing you with 4 other people. If you are here first, there is an extra tip in it for you.
And the loser will be punished. I'm very tempted to make this into a short script. I love that idea.
I would. I'm gonna next time we have
it's
there's
like
a group of us together. We've got to do that.
Race. It's a first world version of Rat Race.
Ollie, may I suggest when you guys go to the thingy?
Yeah.
The thingy.
The convention thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that.
Maybe.
Anyway, we were talking about the Acolyte, weren't we?
We were before.
We have firmly covered the middle-class entertainment of the Jedi Order there.
Suzanne Rust is now following. Thank you for the follow, Suzanne Rust.
I forgot to mention in my intro that I have a habit of derailing conversations horribly.
We all do. How this was ever going to work, I have no idea. Ollie has too much confidence in us, or he underestimates how bad we are.
Right.
So
we all agreed the fight scenes were good.
Yeah. Does that okay?
Carrie and Marie Moss. I think I added too many names to a name, but you know what I mean. Matrix Woman.
All right.
She was good.
Round the table, everyone's favourite character so far. Go.
Oh, that's a difficult one.
I am gonna have to say, I'm just remembering his name.
Soul.
Squid Game.
Soul. His name is Saul. Not Saul. Saul Goodman.
Soul system. Not soul as in music or what possibly carries on after we die.
I also liked the Poison Man. He was good.
The sidekick was good. I give it that.
Torben.
Yeah.
Torben was the one who got poison. I mean, the man who made the poison.
Him.
Yeah.
Because I like how he was just like mixing it like he was mixing a drink as well, like he was making a cocktail.
Yeah.
I like the scene where she walks in because you did not have to try everything, and it's like, I want to be high, leave me alone.
I also thought it was funny how quickly the whole, pretending to be her sister thing fell apart. I knew it would. It was just like how she was just being too nice, like, hello, hi, thank you for what you did for me earlier. And she's like, wait, you're not this nice. You're...
You haven't threatened to stab me yet.
Yeah, and I like how that whole face-off thing that Obi-Wan Kenobi did in the Clone Wars, where he made himself look like that bounty hunter. That has never been done before or since in Star Wars. It's like, is that just really expensive to do?
It must be.
Blow half their budget to make him look like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, my favourite character at the moment is the pit droid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like the pit droid.
Yeah. I must admit, it's just because I find it incredibly amusing to think of him like this, but I'm currently on Yord is my favourite because of just the idea of a Jedi himbo is hilarious to me.
Yeah, he's a good character. I like him a lot because I thought he was going to be the overzealous, headstrong, cocky guy, and there's a lot more to him. I like that.
I think I'm gonna like him more in future episodes. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah.
I quite like Osha as a character. So far, I think. Well, I mean, I like how she doesn't have resentment for the Jedi for her leaving and not being able to hack it, because they kind of assumed she would.
Because sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, usually when we see Jedi in Star Wars who have left the Jedi Order, there's some sort of bitterness because, like for Count Dooku, he was disillusioned. For Ahsoka, she was framed for a crime she didn't commit, and hardly anyone stood up for her. Whereas it's quite interesting to see someone who sort of like mutually left the Jedi, like, it's not for me, and it's interesting to see that perspective because there's this whole thing about, is it like the 21 Jedi who left? And you think that's not many. But, you'd think that there'd be more who would just leave because it's not for them or it's not what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah.
There have been more than 21 Jedi have left the Order. That's an important distinction to make before some people will go, but hang on, X, Y, Z. These are 21 Jedi who left the Order willingly, not by falling to the dark side and trying to kill all the others. Key distinction there, because if you include the Darksiders, it's about half the Jedi who have ever lived have left the Order.
Yeah.
Most of them have then gone to try and murder the rest.
Did they kill any younglings on the way out?
In fairness, actually, one I can think of was a youngling. They became Darth Zana, who was Darth Bane's apprentice, so the second of the rule of two Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we were on the I have a bad feeling about this line and whether or not it was
internet went.
Yeah. I don't think at this point... I mean, at this point, I do think having a go at Star Wars for being self-referential is kind of like having a go at a dog for barking. But, having said that, when the Clone Wars did it, it really got under my skin.
Yeah.
I don't mind it when it's in once in a while. It's kind of a nice thing that it's like, is that the Force telling you something's wrong, or is it just, you've got a bad feeling about it?
Yeah, but the Clone Wars would straight up quote the movies every other episode, and it's like, yeah, that's a bit much. But,
when Darth Maul says always two there are, why does he say it like that? He wasn't there to hear Yoda say that unless he was like watching the funeral without his legs.
And also, he had no reason to talk like Yoda.
He should have just said. He should just come out and said, "Evil always comes in pairs," and then it's like it's the same thing. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Sol in this said, "Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them." He didn't word it precisely the same way, but it's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like be a textbook thing that you would say to someone training as a Jedi, so that's pretty forgivable.
Maybe it's in their teaching manual.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah.
is. They probably have a
Like,
standardized curriculum.
Yeah.
What? So you're saying that this organisation that train people from a young age probably know what they're doing?
Probably.
Have been doing it for 25,000 years by this point.
It's like if they do something really well and they go and they try and are cocky about it, just say, "Great kid, don't get cocky."
Don't get penisy.
Oh shit! That method of teaching them worked really well. Write that down. Let's maybe not allow relationships. That didn't go.
The empiricism strikes back.
Stop taking in children who can remember their parents. If they're still basically don't understand object permanence, they're the age we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it wasn't obvious before, it is now. If people didn't get why they don't do that, now they, we've got another, instance of that not working out for obvious reasons.
Or if in a Jedi report, if you go, yeah, his mum's still a slave on a planet,
who,
maybe go back and get that slave.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, in the Darth Vader comics, I believe that Sabe did try, but I think she kind of just missed out because, Clee Glass beat her to it.
Yeah, it is now. Shimi was sold just before an organization Padme set up could free her. They did free Anakin's two friends from before the pod race.
Yeah, and they ended up teaming up with Vader in comics, didn't they?
Yeah, they meet again with Vader, and I believe they survive because they don't learn it's Anakin, and Vader goes, "Well, they haven't seen anything that would make me look bad to the Emperor, so they can live."
Yeah, I mean, this is him beginning to come round to Return of the Jedi mindset.
Yeah, but going back to the "I have a bad feeling about this" line, I think possibly because it has been said that the dark side, to those who don't use it, feels cold. I have a bad feeling about this could just be sort of how he processed the first time brushing up against the dark side properly.
Yeah,
because that's when when Obi-Wan said it in Phantom Menace.
The thing is, it was used well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was used at the correct time.
This is true. Yeah.
If he keeps saying it, it's going to keep annoying. But sort of as a reaction to quite possibly the first person who radiates significant dark side energy off of them.
And the master soul just goes, "Oh, you always have a bad feeling about everything."
Maybe they should have a rule that they all get one. You can say it
Everybody
once.
gets one.
What is it with you and curses?
This is cursed.
That is cursed.
You're not happy without a good curse. It's just like you could say it to Han Solo. What is it with your bad feelings? I have a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling about that. You said that about going to the shower while we were traveling faster than light.
He's just a highly neurotic man.
I have a bad feeling about this. I told you not to trust that blue macaroon.
Yeah, there's nothing really objectionable in this show so far. I think it's pretty good. It's, I don't know if the whole thing as a whole will stand the test of time. I guess we're just gonna watch the next 7 weeks. I'm glad that there's 8 episodes.
Yeah,
I feel like 6 episodes would have been too short for this show. I mean, Ollie knows this. I'm of the long form school of television. I miss when big TV shows had 24 episodes.
I do too.
That's just me. I know that it's not necessarily for modern sensibilities because people don't have the patience to sit through 24 episodes.
Well, I've referenced this, and I put it down to you have to go off the anime thing. It's the short form and long form. Short form anime has 12, long form has 24.
Yeah.
I don't know why they broke it down to under 8 and for streaming. It's stupid, and it doesn't
Because they
give you
want
enough
people
time to even cover any of the people.
because people like
And
to
then-
binge it in a day, and they want, for some reason, they think that, like, I mean, I kind of think no fewer than 10 if you want it to be like an ongoing series.
Hmm.
And if you have to do 10, that's when it's okay to... Who did we lose?
Seb again.
Yeah. And if you have to do...
Kept doing.
And if you have to do 10, that's when it's okay to like throw it all up there at once. But if you're doing it one episode a week, you know, they're not going to binge it in one day anyway. So why not do more?
Well, I like what Disney did before when they went, oh, here's the first half. And then they gave you a week and then gave you the second half. And you're like, because it gives you the binginess, but then it gives you a week to talk about it and get other people involved so they go and watch it. And then come back to watch the second half. That's a much better thing. And it's like, give us 5 episodes or 6 episodes, and then next week give us 6 episodes, and have both have the best of both worlds. Have them have people talk about it to the point where other people want to watch it.
Yeah, but also, I think the reason they're doing one episode a week and have pretty consistently done one episode a week is because they get to be the conversation on social media for that many weeks.
Mm.
Mm. And I
Yeah.
know that a lot of these longer shows had 24 episodes before social media was a huge thing. And it was more of like around the water fountain kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I did like that. That's just me. Well, that's just me being nostalgic.
No, I liked when I was watching things like the Arrowverse, Game of Thrones, Spartacus. Those are shows that I liked back in the day. There would be. Sorry, I'm going to start again. Most days of the week, I would have something to watch when I got home from wherever I was. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
And-
like that.
yeah, I think that's a good way of doing things. Is if you're gonna go week to week, do more episodes. If you're gonna drop it all at once, no fewer than 10 episodes.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the Acolyte. It could go either way because
Unless
if
it's a
if it does well,
mini-series.
then yeah.
Unless it is
Yeah.
by design a mini-series, because I don't think the Obi-Wan series would have benefited from another 4 episodes.
No.
It might
I mean, that was
benefited from
very
another
clearly
one
meant to
though.
be a movie originally.
Oh.
I mean, both Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan were definitely...
Jamie
originally-
Loosely is now following. Thank you for the follow, Jamie. And now, I've really got to redo my alert box because I think they've reset.
And
but-
not to go off topic again, but... Well, I am going to a little bit. But I will always stick up for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And even the Book of Boba Fett show to some extent. It's not good, but it's a fun time.
Oh yeah, it's a fun ride while you're watching. To be fair, I enjoyed Obi-Wan more than some of the films.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So did I think. The
It's like-
Obi-Wan show was pretty underrated, I think.
And a lot of people ask me, it's like, oh yeah, but how do you justify, it being him doing it? And I went, I don't think you need to.
Yeah.
Also, the show does a good job of justifying it. He's put in a position where he's the only one who can help, and if you can find him, maybe you can hire Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but it's the thing. It was like, technically, it's that one guy's decision who he went to. You don't need to
Yeah, he
justify
kind of
other
had his
than it's
hands
that
full.
one guy just went, I'm hiring him. I'm going to find him
Yeah,
because he's the only one I fucking trust. And you're like,
yeah. The only reason why Obi-Wan would leave Tatooine in that situation is if his hand was very seriously forced, and I think it being Leia, the reason he does it works very well. It was a very
Yeah.
good reason.
And the only other Jedi that Bail Organa at that point knows for sure is still alive. Because
Yeah,
this
and
is
he's not going to get his boots dirty in the swamp.
Joker in Rebels. the only Jedi he knows that is still alive, other than Obi-Wan, is Yoda. And
Yeah.
Yoda sticks out in the crowd, despite the fact you cannot physically see him in a crowd.
Well, yeah, he's very conspicuous wherever he goes. Like the most legendary Jedi Grandmaster is going to stick out like a sore thumb, especially when he just talks like he does.
I
guy
want to see that film redone with Yoda. Come for the girl I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, my canon reason for why Bail Organa didn't go to find Yoda is because he didn't want to get his clothes dirty in the swamp. Because he's always dressed really nice.
Exactly.
Well, to be fair, he is a prince of an entire planet.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jimmy Smits has the riz. Come on. It's Jimmy Smits, man.
Mm.
Yeah,
I love Jimmy Smits.
Obi-Wan can blend in the predominant the racist society where humans are viewed as superior. That is the Empire.
Yeah, he's a white bloke with a beard. That's basically half the galaxy.
Yeah, and so he can blend in with it, and it's sort of like also, he is still a legendary Jedi, so it's like I can trust him. The fact he has got completely rusty on 90% of his skills in the meantime.
I mean, that's not Bail Organa's fault, is it? Let's be fair.
Yeah, it's not Bail's fault, and it is also to an extent irrelevant, because even a rusty Obi-Wan is better than the average Inquisitor or Stormtrooper.
Although, how much better would that series would have been if it wasn't Obi-Wan, but Jar Jar Binks? He's the only other person I've got in the phone book. I'm going to have to call him.
Ollie and I, the show that Ollie and I want is a Dex's Diner show, where it's like an anthology where each episode follows someone different who comes into the diner for advice or knowledge. And I want one of those episodes to be a Jar Jar Binks episode where he's like, me used to think I made a big oopsie in like supporting Palpatine. You know, and it's just like him sort of like realizing that he's been played the whole time and like, you know, how can Misa make things right?
Yeah, I believe his canon fate at the moment is he dies in disgrace as a children's street entertainer on Naboo.
That is a very 2015 Star Wars thing to do, because this was at the time when people assumed that the prequels were still hated and they were trying to distance themselves from the prequels.
I'm still waiting for the Star Wars film where we can see E.T. pull out a lightsaber and when it goes, we go, ow.
It could happen.
Yeah, because the ET, the extraterrestrials, appear in the Phantom Menace.
And
the reason why they're in the Phantom Menace is because Yoda was in ET.
Yeah, so that just causes a loop of like ET sees them play with Yoda and go, Yoda, Yoda, going full Luke Skywalker in the swamp there. Wait, Yoda.
Even ET recognized Yoda, so Yoda would not have done well on an undercover mission.
I expecting him just like for the first little bit of them to speaking being the whole like ET crackly voice thing, and then be just like 1 minute he coughs, clears his throat, and he goes, "All right, bitches, now I'm gonna kill you." And you're like, "Oh damn!"
I want to hear a Jedi swear.
I mean, it was gonna be Mace Windu if it was anyone, wasn't it?
I'd say Qui-Gon.
Could be the himbo could just accidentally swear.
Qui-Gon is exactly the type to come out of a Jedi Council meeting and then just go to Obi-Wan like, that was a waste of my fucking time.
or just storm out going, "You fucking idiots!"
Yes!
He enters a room pushing the doors like Aragorn returning to Helm's Deep, but just yells, "You fucking idiots, I'll sort this out."
So maybe they'll do the Guardians of the Galaxy
You never said anything
thing.
about Two Blades.
Maybe they'll do the Guardians of the Galaxy thing and be banging on one of the doors and go, "Just open the fucking door."
Yes, I love that.
Or I don't know. Oh, so that's why you put the F-bomb in the Phantom Menace.
Yes. I think because it's the most kiddie of all the Star Wars movies, that's the movie that needs the F-bomb the most.
Okay, but which actual line would you slot it into?
I don't know, but it would definitely be Qui-Gon saying it. He'd probably say it to Watto at some point.
I would have dropped it in when they're on Endor attacking the Ewoks. I'd just have a stormtrooper going, "Just shoot him." It's like he's fucking 2 foot tall. You try shoot him.
I shall do what I fucking must, Obi-Wan.
So, when the stormtroopers are being beaten by the Ewoks with rocks on the ground, they're like, not like this! Fucking hell, no!
Oh, they're running away from the AT, and it's just like, oh, they've fucking got control of the thing.
Yeah.
Now that we have quite thoroughly buried this in YouTube's algorithm, I don't
I'm
care.
not sorry. I'm not sorry.
I have one more sort of good place to drop an F-bomb.
Go on.
With it being Mace Windu doing it. I am the Senate. Not yet, motherfucker.
Yeah.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you are under arrest, motherfucker.
I was going to say it would probably have to be in the Palpatine bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say,
I mean, if you've seen Backstroke of the West, Obi-Wan swears like a trooper.
it was awkward seeing the himbo with his shirt off near a youngling.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
he did the whole Kylo Ren thing.
I don't think
Also,
Ben Swallow.
Sam, in fairness, I get the sense that she's older than she looks.
Oh
well,
yeah,
I know, but youngling, so that could be literally.
Yeah, contextually, it's a bit. Ugh, but yeah.
We also don't know how aliens age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think technically she's a Padawan rather than a youngling, because youngling refers to a child who hasn't been taken on as a Padawan yet. So
I guess it's the whole would you sell her a drink test.
Okay, so it's not creepy yet.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah, the younglings, admittedly, thanks to various ages, we have seen youngling can refer to a baby who is only just old enough to not need a mother there to feed them every 5 minutes, to Grogu, who's a 55-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Bart Simpson in my episode of The Simpsons where he's held back and is an adult.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well,
it doesn't help that her voice is very childlike.
Yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't help.
well, we stopped talking about the Acolyte a good, 20 minutes ago, or at least the episodes, so...
Sorry, Sam. I mean, Ollie.
No, I'm just taking that as maybe a scene that we're running out of material, a sign that we're maybe running out of material. So, final thoughts,
I think
everyone.
It's a fairly. Sorry.
No, you were going to say something. Final thoughts on the
No,
episode.
you cut out for me.
Oh, I just said so. Final thoughts, everyone. In conclusion.
Okay. In conclusion, I think the reason why we've not had a whole lot to say is because it's fairly self-explanatory. You know, the show speaks for itself. We've spoken about a few of the things that it's done particularly well, a few minor bugbears, but there's nothing too controversial, but there's also nothing hugely groundbreaking. It's a very solid show, quite good. I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops.
Yeah, it's basically pretty good. It's basically all right. Yeah.
Bit of an all right, I'd say. Just not amazingly so.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in?
I personally think that this is one of those shows that it's like, this is kind of what it needs at the moment. It needs a solid show that isn't controversial and being picked apart horribly. And if it is, that obviously if you watch it, you can tell they're speaking out of their other ends.
Yeah.
I think that it being disconnected as much as it is from everything else is probably the best thing for it at this point. Letting it stand on its own 2 feet and being in a part where, look, if someone who you're familiar with is going to turn up, it's going to be one of this very small selection, if that. Yeah, and it being able to stand on its own is fine because it's not. Because here's the thing: it's not using other characters. They can't accuse it of trying to stand on the shoulders of other characters and use their star power to bring up other characters. All of these characters, no matter how the rest of the series goes, are going to be able to stand on their own. They're going to be their own characters, and I think it has enough of its own unique identity where it is going to be its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the characters have endeared themselves to me quite early on, which is a very good sign.
Well, that's the thing. It's got enough of the Star Wars, enough to let you know that it's Star Wars, but I think one of its biggest strengths to me, and again, it's just to me personally, is how it just shows just how big the world is. Like, it's not just around this particular load of characters or events around people who are related to the, more popular characters. It's its own thing. It's able to stand on its own, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Further to that, I have long said, and this is in at least 3 Audible reviews on my listener page, that when it comes to Star Wars, I've never been much for the extended material stuff, because if there are, like, legacy characters in it, you know nothing too substantial is going to happen. Because, books have to tiptoe around the movies since they're still in production.
It's basically the same problem with prequels in general.
It's a similar thing. Yeah. And
topic, but I've said like the best is Yakuza, because the problem that everyone goes into is you can't have any big, very substantial thing happen to these characters, but you can, if you depending on how far back it is, show how character A got to this part, this particular part of their life.
Yeah.
There's stuff you can do with it, but it's got to be handled well.
For similar reasons, Better Call Saul is a very good prequel.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That is a prequel done right.
Yeah.
When it's a character that doesn't really have much to their past that the audience have seen, and you handle it well enough, you can get away with it, because then they can't accuse you of the dreaded retcon.
Yeah. But
and you can still make it exciting and a fun story without having to go, oh no, look at this, I have to, I'm going to have to do something that might affect future stories or retcon something. Like, no, you don't. You can still tell a good story, and that's what Yakuza does, and this is what this can do, because they can have big events happen, but Star Wars has enough of a history that events like this can happen and not really affect anything in a major way.
As the person here who's read the most Star Wars current canon novels, probably.
And remembers most of it.
Yeah, and remembers most of it. And unless, Dan might have read more than me. I don't know.
I know bits and pieces of current canon, but I haven't kept up with the novels so well. If it's Legends, I've read far too many of them. But current canon, there's not as...
too many.
Yeah. Fair enough. But
one final thing I'd like to add, and then I'll leave it to everyone else, is that I really like the whole Terrace Cassie motif, because it's very nice to have a Jedi show that doesn't just default on lightsaber duels for the action.
Well, yeah, that's what I said at the beginning.
I like how we've got all of the Force, and we've got martial arts, and genuinely well choreographed martial arts as well. We've got Carrie and Moss, famous for the Matrix movies, in there as well.
And they kept teasing her grabbing for the saber, but never quite managing to get it.
It'll be a big moment when it does happen.
That's going to happen at some point. You just know it.
Yeah.
It's good. What I think is going to happen with that is she's going to get the saber, and either it's going to be against the Wookiee, and it's how she takes the Wookiee down, or it's going to be Master Souls, and she's then going to have a change of heart in her hand.
Yeah.
Probably because OSHA turns up.
So that she can take control of Master Soul for the rest of the turn.
The only thing I would like to leave on is literally, if you hear people reviewing this and it's literally just, woman, you don't know who these people are, there's a problem with those reviewers, because it's like, none of the people in this show has done anything wrong, and that they're unknowns, that's not a problem either.
In fact, I'd say that's a point in its favour, honestly.
Also, I'd say they're not unknowns, because we've got Hunger Games woman, Rue, who is playing the twins. We've got Carrie Marie Moss, who isn't a major role, but,
Joseph Ricky on YouTube says, "Hi, how are you?" We're good, Joseph.
We've got Squid Game Man.
We're just wrapping up now. Yeah.
We could take a call from the audience. How did has he watched it? What did he find out of it?
Yeah. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts on the Acolyte? We've got time. I was gonna add to something Seb was saying. Can't.
What about the unknown cast that isn't unknown?
No,
unknown
before that.
Unknown actors.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
I was also going to say that as someone who's read the most Disney canon books here, on the Acolyte, the show we're discussing, if you wanted to share them, this is
Ricky, what did you think about it?
Yeah, but self-contained stories tend to work best for me, and for that reason, the High Republic I think has the highest baseline of quality. Although anything by Claudia Gray is worth a look. I'm not huge on Master and Apprentice, but it does establish that Jedi can fuck, so it's all good there.
I was gonna say that sounded like a porn book.
And some Jedi do fuck.
Yeah. Like one of Qui-Gon's sibling students under Dooku says, and I quote, "It's attachments the codes forbids. It doesn't say you can't get laid."
Qui-Gon fucks. Come on, Qui-Gon fucks.
50 Shades of Lightsabers.
Qui-Gon doesn't have sex. Qui-Gon fucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's.
I mean, he's Liam Neeson. You know, we've seen him in Schindler's List. We know what he's like.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
implied.
it's not really Neeson.
Yeah.
You what?
I said, yeah, the Jedi Order's not going to fuck with Liam Neeson.
No, but he's
Oh,
going to
no.
fuck the Order.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the
The
point.
entire generation of Neesons had to be exterminated. That was the purpose of Order 66.
The point
The
being
story-
that a breath of fresh air in a new setting, well, not a new setting, but in a setting that doesn't have many legacy characters in, because if legacy characters are alive, there's going to be an expectation of them showing up, whether they do or not.
Yeah.
And like, if they do, it's going to be like a hackneyed cameo, and if they don't, it's going to be a betrayal of expectations. And
No one's going to cry if Oppo Rancisis doesn't show.
Yeah.
I might, but no one else will.
yeah, and to Trigger's point about bad faith criticism, I like to think most people are pretty good at knowing that when they see it. But there are people who go in wanting to think a certain thing, and confirmation bias is a hell of a drug.
Mm.
Yeah, and those people are very easy to profit off of.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of money in apparently in telling people that they're right to be angry.
Well, advertising revenue.
Yeah.
Simple as
Right,
that.
well, let's restart a new trend. If you enjoyed this, you are right to have enjoyed it. You have the right to enjoy whatever you write, as long as it's illegal. It's legal.
And look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you
Make
can't.
It's legal.
I'm not saying you can't have negative opinions about things, but like, I don't mind what your opinion is as long as I believe you arrived by it honestly and it is genuinely yours.
Mm.
Yeah, and also it's just like nice to have it backed up by, you know, an explanation or an elaboration for why you feel that way.
Or even if not, like, it didn't click with me and I'm not sure why is a perfectly acceptable thing to say.
I mean, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's that movie for me. It just didn't click with me. I felt it was too bleak. It was a very well made movie, but I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, and that's the thing that's exhausting about engaging with the Star Wars fandom at all, is because you can't just disagree with someone, like, because you don't just disagree, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're always wrong, Ollie.
See, I like to live in a world where no one's actually wrong, but it's like there's a discussion to be had.
I mean, except people who think
Yeah,
The Last Jedi is
exactly.
bad, obviously.
No, but there's a why. Why do you think it's bad? Let's discuss that. Let's have a.
Well, no,
I
we'll
have
be here
my
for another
share
3
of-
hours.
I have my share of problems with that film, believe it or not. It's just not the same laundry list.
No, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, how much is this of what you've heard, or how much of it is your opinion? It's just like, I said I've had arguments
Like-
and discussions with people. It's like, oh,
Hello?
that film was awful. Well, what didn't you like about it? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Well,
My
And it's
internet
like-
appears to have crapped out on me.
That's the thing that drives me physically insane. When you're like, well, what didn't you like about it? I don't know. I never watched it.
Well, how do you know it's bad then?
Yeah, that's the thing. My brain just completely short circuits at that point. It's like,
I mean, you can go by reputation, and I'm not going to say you have to watch everything. If there is something that you do not expect to like for whatever reason, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you also
Yeah.
got to acknowledge that you don't really know that much about.
well, that's the thing.
Well, yeah.
Because you've seen me, Ollie. I've literally, if I haven't watched something, I will say, look, I haven't watched it, but I'm very happy to hear your opinions and ask questions for it. But to someone who hasn't watched something and then come in and go, I hate it, it's awful, I hated it, and you're like, but you didn't watch it.
I don't know how you can muster the energy to do that. To be honest,
No,
hating
that's-
things takes.
It boggles my mind when it's like, so you hate something that you've never seen.
Yeah, so
Yeah. But
Surely it saves you energy and just go, I don't have an opinion on it, I haven't watched it. It's got to be easier than the millions of questions that are going to come up from, what part, when did it lose you?
I do think, and this isn't necessarily a bad faith thing, I do think there is an uptake in people being a little more picky with their entertainment because there's so much of it and there's only so many hours in the day. So,
Yeah.
well, the famous line from Ratatouille is, if I don't love it, I don't swallow, and a lot more people... yeah. I'm quoting an episode of Cold Take, I can't remember the one on the Escapist, is that a lot more people are not swallowing these days just because of a sheer abundance of entertainment out there. You gotta, prioritise your time. And,
So
that's
you spit
fair
then, or-
enough. What?
So you spit then?
Oh, yeah.
Not if he really likes you.
Ah, wait, that wasn't endearing. Why did I go,
I don't know why you say anything you say.
Sometimes he
Neither
tries
do
to
I,
spit,
and
but
I'm
it
the
just
one
dribbles
saying
down his chin.
Yeah, he hasn't been trained yet, so that's why he spits.
Yeah, you haven't seen me learn, so therefore I'm a
Yeah,
man
he-
too.
Yeah, he needs a bit more throat training.
If he really likes you, he gargles.
oh dear.
Opens his mouth and shows you.
Okay,
La, 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 la.
Yeah.
okay. I think we
I just want to
rounded.
make the boss nass noise.
I think we've rounded a corner
Yeah,
now.
I think we ran the joke thin about 4 comments ago. So,
Yeah,
I'm still glad we did it. I'm still glad we did it.
fair enough.
no, my takeaway from this, because I haven't said sort of like my final thoughts and takeaway on the start yet, is we just had okay. Hey, we've just had Joseph just said Acolyte is defined as a follower. She is not a Jedi follower. She follows dark forces. Is her Acolyte ascension to a Sith apprentice with a Sith master or Sith faction? Kylo Ren was not Sith.
Yeah,
Technically, all of that is true.
yeah.
And it's going to be an interesting story to find out what is actually going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no confirmation that she is serving a Sith. All we know is it's a masked man with a red-ish lightsaber.
Well, do we even know it's a man?
I don't
Well,
suppose we
it's
do.
Look, it could just be some random hobo she's seen, and he's just told her this, and she's.
Well,
Yeah, he just picked up a red lightsaber and she just took his word for it.
She hasn't gone near him, so for all we know, he could be going, I don't know, take out that Jedi with the. I don't know, without using a. Maybe because he doesn't want to actually do it, so he's doing an impossible task and hoping she dies.
Oh, that's
If I
shame.
kill a Jedi with a pitfall
Just a
trap,
man.
does that work?
Yeah. But, to go back, sort of my takeaway, I have hope that the season is going to be there is a lot of that is also correct. Not all red lightsabers are Sith. That was mentioned towards the beginning of it before you joined us, Joseph. So there is we have no idea whether they're serving any previously known affiliate. I have hope for the show. Oh, and sort of the central message. I also do have the worry of just sort of, will they get it across well? But so far, that worry is just the small one I always have in the back of my head whenever I start something new of, please turn out to be as good as I hope you are.
Yeah.
The stick in the landing is usually the problematic part.
Yeah.
They've been flying the plane very competently so far, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. And to the point of red lightsabers and Sith. Hold on a second. Just excuse me.
All that gargling.
Right. To the point of red lightsabers and Sith, I actually really like the new canon explanation for red lightsabers. And
bleeding.
Yeah, I was in two minds about it because the old Legends explanation was that the red crystals were synthetic, mined from a crystal found on the Sith homeworld, which is a simple, sensible answer to a question you may or may not have asked. But it doesn't explain, besides the social stigma that would come with it, why Jedi don't use red sabers, whereas this one does. In order to get a red saber, you have to do something that fundamentally a Jedi would never do.
Yeah.
I married someone. Yeah, now I can have a red. I got married and bought a beach home.
How many episodes have you all seen? Well, I assume we've all seen both of them that have currently dropped.
Well, I was with you, so you know I have.
Yeah. I watched both of them this morning.
I watched them in the wee hours of this morning, so when I should have been.
I have also seen both.
Yeah. So yeah, there is also the question of when it comes to how much people like Star Wars, is like. So I have another question if it's okay to ask. Yeah, sure, go ahead. There's also the question of franchise fatigue. Like, is that a thing people are experiencing? And not so much for me, but I can see.
I mean, I mentioned before that I could understand the whole, because I've had that friend I've told you about who basically said there was an oversaturation of it because there was just too much of it to get through, which is a problem that I have with Marvel as well. But I went into this with a fresh face. As you know, I haven't watched anything since The Last Jedi. It's been that long since I've seen anything Star Wars related, but I actually enjoyed this.
Yeah. I question when anybody says about they're tired of it because they're very excited about the animated, what's it called, animation style shorts that they bring out, and you're like,
oh, Star Wars Visions.
I went, are you, or are you just hating on Disney?
Like, to be fair, Star Wars Visions is really good.
Yeah,
I think maybe they'd have been better off making like short episodes of from across the galaxy stories.
Yeah, maybe. Have you seen Star Wars Visions though, Trigger?
I haven't. It is on my list. I'm so far behind on anime.
Oh my dude, there is a Wallace. There's an Aardman episode of Star Wars Visions, Wallace and Gromit, but Star Wars, and it's everything it sounds like.
Might put that on my list for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I've watched one of Visions, and I'm behind on the fair amount of the animated. 2 seasons of Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi, and Tales of the Empire. I've not.
I haven't seen Tales of the Empire. I keep forgetting it exists.
Yeah, because
I haven't watched Tales of the Empire. I just started watching Bad Batch season 2, and I'm like,
I like the Bad Batch.
I need to clear out some more time because I enjoy this stuff, but I don't have time.
I enjoy it, but I suffer from sort of like the feeling of this time period is so crowded. It sort of like we get so much in both Legends and canon of like the equivalent of a major war of worth of detail every single year in that time period across the 2 canons, so it feels just so crowded to me.
Yeah. And Joseph has commented, in episode 2, a Jedi commits suicide. I say suicide because he knowingly kills himself by taking the poison. What does he feel guilt or shame about? I have one more question after this. Thanks. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
but
we covered that a little bit earlier, didn't we? That is going to be a really big reveal when we find out what these 4 did on that planet.
Yeah, because
Because we can tell that Soul feels bad about something, and it's like, what did you guys do?
like it was bad enough that this guy took a vow of silence and only broke it to kill himself.
That, and even when he had the choice of coming clean or doing that, that's what he chose. It's like, Dad, what did you do?
Yeah. So if you want to know theories, about as much as I get is they were as close as sort of like from hints we've got at the moment is either they're responsible for the fire that killed not only their parents and what they thought was May, but possibly a lot more people as well on the planet. Or they let some group go that they knew were guilty, but they couldn't prove it. But I feel that those are too small for the reaction of Masatomin to drink the poison.
But again, it's a great catch for making people want to watch more, I think, because it's like, what did you do?
Yeah, it's almost like as well. Both the children are Force sensitivity, Osha and May, though we haven't seen Osha use it because she hasn't been practicing. It almost gives me the slight ick of were they running sort of a Jedi breeding planet almost. Has also crossed my mind. Yeah, because ironically, the Jedi Order is a wonderful organization of limiting the number of Force sensitives in the galaxy because it takes them out of the breeding pool. And as they have suggested, while also saying not, that Force ability is an inherited characteristic, it suggests that it's a part of the natural evolution, and the Jedi are going out of their way to stop it by trying to harness it for good. And so yeah, more Jedi should be having children, as we discussed earlier. Liam Neeson, they had to have Order 66 to wipe out a generation of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I see as the possible secrets. Either possible eugenics, fire, or incompetence.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a fun ride to find out, though.
Yeah.
Because this could be literally one of the first cracks in the order. Basically, it's like, you guys really need to stop doing this sort of shit.
Joseph says, I apologize if I offend anyone asking this question. Oh, spicy. But I need to ask this. The Emperor says the Sith are unnatural. Does that suggest Satanism in the trailers they have, which is covered? I don't think Christianity as an institution exists in Star Wars. However, I do think Palpatine is very intentionally set up as being a devil-like figure.
Yeah, Palpatine is, I think, he was originally meant to be sort of the trope of the weedy king who was manipulated by the power behind the throne. In the early drafts, he then became the manipulator, the corrupter, the ultimate sort of expression of all that's wrong in the universe.
Yeah.
And the Sith may be sort of unnatural in that they bend the force of the universe and essentially almost birth the dark side in a way, or energy of it. But the idea of sort of he's meant to be sort of okay, he could be your Satan, but he could also be a spirit of evil from other mythologies and stuff. And witches, witchcrafts, and witch covens have been a long part of Star Wars, actually, from Legends.
Oh yeah, Night Sisters and stuff.
Yeah,
Night Sisters and the Witches of Dathomir, who were probably a lot closer to a Wiccan group predominantly. If you fell to the dark side, you were banished to essentially the worst part of the planet, and that's how the Night Sisters came to be. They were the banished witches who fell to the dark side.
Because they are full evil.
Yeah,
that's what they were in Legends. Whereas in canon now, it looks like the Night Sisters are the only witches.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I've been talking the last. I thought everyone was just ignoring me.
Oh no, we couldn't hear you until you dropped out and came back.
No, yeah, because I was just saying about the Sith. I also get like Aleister Crowley vibes from the
Oh,
Sith.
thank you, Joseph.
In terms of their whole, seeking knowledge of the dark arts and the whole "do what thou will" kind of philosophy they have. So when they're less outwardly evil, I think they do have that sort of like dark arts practitioner, Aleister Crowley vibe to them.
Yeah. Oh, you said earlier about people being like, we were talking about people leaving the Jedi and being like embittered with them. I think probably my favorite example of that was Balin's skull in Ahsoka. It's such a shame we lost Ray Stevenson, because I really wanted to see where that character was going to go. And it's also a shame we lost Ray Stevenson in general. But
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry.
Why are you apologising?
Because I've not got my computer at the moment, and I'm having to make do with my laptop, and I feel like it just keeps stopping working.
I don't forgive you. How dare you?
Yeah, I think of Balin's skull. Oh, he's embittered with the Jedi, but I also don't think he left the Order, technically. I think the Order was sort of cut out from under him.
Yeah.
Well, he had no choice in the matter.
And then perhaps upon meditation he realised that this was inevitable.
Yeah, if you look at his lightsaber, it's orangey brown, so it does suggest his outlook has changed, and it's possible his crystal has been slightly bled.
Yeah.
And because entertainingly, while the crystal can be bled and it becomes red, you then can purify them, and that's how Ahsoka got her white blades.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't really rely on the dark side that much, other than that one time Force chokes people.
Yeah, but like the immortal line he says is, "I miss the idea of it," but yeah. Basically, his stance is he likes the idea of the Jedi, but the reality is, frankly, no match for it.
What did you guys keep getting that whenever when they kept saying, "Oh, you got to kill a Jedi without a weapon"?
Yeah.
Did anyone else automatically swing to, "Oh, so she's got to use Force lightning or Force choke someone"? Because that was the first thing my brain went to. It's like, I don't know why.
Those would be the first things I'd thought of as well. I mean, I suppose
we don't know if she can do that.
I suppose if she can't, there must be a way she can force yeet them off a cliff.
Yeah, the Force yeet, the more accurate name of Force push.
It's like, to become an apprentice, you must be able to use lightning.
I tried to say it earlier, but my mic wasn't working. I do recommend Tales of the Empire. In particular, the episodes that stood out for me that were really good, and I never thought I'd think this because it was never a character who I really thought about much, were the Barasofi episodes. They were very good.
I see.
Like, I preferred them to the other episodes. They were very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that, and there has also been for a long time questions of what exactly happened to her, because she...
Honestly, it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, because she fell to the dark side and framed Ahsoka. And what would the Empire do with a Jedi who fell? It was like Palpatine would try something. I mean, the entire premise of the Inquisitors is essentially we have, for want of a better word, Force-sensitive dogs on a leash to hunt down the Jedi as they run through the forest away from them.
I mean, watch it for yourself, but I really love what they did with her character in those 3 episodes.
Yeah, I will. It's on my list.
I particularly liked.
I did like Tales of the Jedi, particularly the Dooku episodes.
Yeah, well, it was a similar thing to Tales of the Jedi, where there were 2 sets of 3 episodes revolving around 2 different characters, and one was clearly more compelling than the other, and it was the Count Dooku episodes last time, and this time it's the Barasofi episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's Morgan Elsbeth that gets the other 3 episodes, and they were good, but it was a bit like the Ahsoka episodes, where I don't feel like we learned much new about that character, whereas we did with the Count Dooku episodes, and we did with the Barasofi episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential going forwards with it, and we will have to see how it goes.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see countless videos being recommended to me because I've mentioned Star Wars online again, that I will just look at and go, I'm going to fundamentally disagree with you because your premise is don't watch it because it's Disney.
Well, yeah, you think that's bad. I've been doing a lot of research about World War II for some scripts I've been writing, and what it's done to my YouTube recommendations is horrible.
Oh, good lord! I can imagine. Ooh.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I also sometimes watch videos about Star Wars.
Oh God.
Good.
Yeah, you would think I was. Honestly, if you looked at my YouTube recommendations, you would think I was a member of Stormfront or something.
No, you should just have preface as
It's just an algorithm. I swear.
There should be a search option that when you search it, instead of pressing search, you press "I'm a writer," and it searches it there. But
just occasionally search on Google. It's just occasionally search on Google. It's okay. I'm a writer.
Yeah,
I have to because last year I wrote a script about ISIS, and I was just searching things like how to make improvised explosive devices, what kind of weapons did ISIS use, and it's like, oh no, and now I'm writing about World War II and the Holocaust. It's like, God, what must
you are going to be on so many lists.
So you just have to randomly search. It's okay. My mother had me tested.
Well, she did have me testing it. It wasn't okay.
Yeah. Joseph, Seb, one of us who are talking here, is at university and he's doing script writing as part of it. And
oh wow, that's brilliant! Well done.
No. He was saying that you were.
Yeah.
Joseph was asking if somebody was writing a script.
Joseph was asking if one of us was writing a script. It was like, yeah, Seb is doing it, and it's from the ones I've seen, they're very good.
Yeah, I'm looking to do it as a career.
He's not crazy. We promise.
Yeah,
well, I am, but
no, he is crazy. We all are because just look at the world around us and everything is just like there's no such thing as normal. There's just different levels of crazy.
If you're not crazy, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, basically.
You'd have to be crazy not to be scared.
Exactly.
That's cool. All the best. Oh God,
that's the only small soldiers thing you're gonna get.
Small soldiers reference.
Yeah, other than you can't handle the rodeo burger.
You're not gonna believe it.
Rodeo burger.
I've sent this to the wrong YouTube channel. This is going to my game stream one.
I thought that's why I couldn't find it. I was sitting there going, I can't find it. Let's open it up.
Don't blame me. I was watching on Twitch.
No, I don't blame it. I forgot to change YouTube channels. That's on me. I will
explain why I found it easily. Yeah, that would explain why I got an email saying you're streaming to YouTube. Actually,
yeah. So this has gone to my gaming YouTube channel and not my main one.
But hey, people have seen it.
Someone's seen it.
I'll save this. You goddamn textureless fools! Yeah, it's connected to you. It's connected to you. It's connected to it now.
Yeah. Okay, it's been nearly 2 hours, so I think we should probably wrap this up. I am looking forward to the next episode of the Acolyte because, I don't think people really appreciate until you see it up close just how terrifying the thought of a Wookiee Jedi is.
Oh no! That one scene where no, I'm having the gun. You're like, okay, now I'm scared. That's literally a bear walking at you and just going, it's a bulletproof bear.
It's
going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Bulletproof bear.
A telekinetic bulletproof bear with a laser sword.
The only way you're going to survive that is send Haku after it.
It'll be an interesting clue to see how the Wookiee Jedi reacts to the whole, whatever happened on that planet all those years ago thing. Like how he's dealt with it or coped with it.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to say,
Probably.
Yeah, I imagine so too.
Or just start speaking English and then we get the first, normal talking Wookiee. but he's giving like a British accent because everybody else has one.
Well, yes, they're just trolling everybody. We can all talk.
You just look at him and go, "Oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Would you like some tea?"
Yeah.
Well, I would
Oh my God,
love
I'm
if
picturing
they
John
were
Cleese
all
from
just
George
in
of
on
the
it.
Jungle.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm picturing John Cleese from George of the Jungle.
What I'm gonna do is download this and just re-upload it to my main YouTube channel, just so it's there.
Fair.
I would love a race of creatures to just all be in on it, and they go, we just haven't spoken to you guys for 20 some odd years because it's funny.
We just don't like you.
Yeah.
So basically, Raya in our other D&D campaign,
Yeah.
except without mistranslating necklace.
Speaking of our D&D campaign, I think it's time we led this out. Does anyone have anything to plug?
Your
No.
butt?
Ah,
Well, I'm sure there is plenty to plug, and I'm sure you're involved in near enough all of it. Because the next thing I know I'm doing on the stream is with you on Sunday for Assassin Sunday.
Yes.
We're playing through the Assassin's Creed series, and we've reached the best Assassin's Creed game, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, indeed. And nice meeting you too, Joseph. So we will be back.
thanks for joining us, Joseph.
Same not same time next week, guys, for this. Does this work for everyone? Right.
At this stage, I don't see why not. I'll let you know if not.
Same bat time, same bat channels for this discussion.
Not
channel.
the same bat channels, because you put in the wrong one.
Yeah, because apart from on YouTube, it will be on the main Ollie Johnson YouTube channel.
Absolute fool.
And
If you want to see more of Ollie Johnson, join him on his Twitch channel. Find him on there. Watch some of his old stuff. If you want to see some
And
more
if
of
you
me,
want to see less of Ollie Johnson, I can't blame you.
fair enough. That's
want to
fair.
see more of me, of course. I'm on my channel on Twitch.
Twitch.tv/TriggerGoblin for Trigger here.
I'm always looking for more followers.
Yeah. I think we'll be doing Warframe on
You're
Sunday.
looking for acolytes.
I'm looking for more acolytes. That is right.
Yeah. And after Sunday, we have Mafia Monday on these channels, where Maura and I are going through the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. And on Tuesdays... Sorry?
We're about to start. I was going to say we're about to start Yakuza 4 this Monday.
Yeah, we're about to start Yakuza 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Tuesday we'll be starting Final Fantasy 3 on Tonberry Tuesday.
It's a very good. Next week is a very good week if everyone wants to start watching these channels, because we're starting new games.
Yeah,
exactly. In series runs.
I might even stream.
Share. Oh, and Hiros Knight might be bringing back Games Night. Is it Games Night, or are you doing something else?
No idea yet.
Yeah, well, let us know. Let us know.
You'll figure.
Yeah. I think Trigger would be great at What the Dub.
You say that. I've got horrible dyslexia, though, so it won't come out very well.
I am rejuvenated at the possibility of Games Night now that we've got more people to join it.
Yeah. So, yeah, with all that said, there is, for the next month or so, because the store's shutting down, merch available at store.streamelements.com/OllieJohnson and store.streamelements.com/EclecticHawk. But on Tuesday, after Tonberry Tuesday, we will continue Goblins vs. Strahd.
We're having the dinner with Strahd.
Yeah.
Will Bork get bit again?
Yeah.
Oh, will Bork get bit again? Will Nux actually be able to sing Gilbert and Sullivan?
Will Obby Crooked Teeth finally get his ogre milk?
And also, will Klee find a way to make Strahd really, really, really uncomfortable?
Curse of Strahd with an old goblin campaign. It's shaping up to be just as funny as you imagine from that concept. Right, so we will see you then. Good night, everybody.